在单位当孙子，1个月3000多。
At my job, I'm treated like a nobody for just over 3,000 yuan a month. But back home, caring for my grandparents, that's over 10,000 yuan. A guy in Chengdu, born after 2000, just quit his job, and his resignation letter went viral. Why'd he quit? To look after his grandparents. His grandpa gets 5,000 yuan in pension. Grandma gets 4,000. His other grandpa pulls in 6,000, and his other grandma gets 3,000. His parents, both only kids, are too busy to care for them, so they pay him 3,000 to step in. Plus, each set of grandparents chips in 5,000. They call it care, but it's basically a gift. These folks are healthy. All he does is hang out, keep them smiling, and everyone's happy.
A June 8th report on WeChat highlighted that some young people, after struggling their exams or struggling to make a stable career, are choosing to return to their hometowns and become full-time good grandsons. This is the latest trend following other phenomena like leftover children and full-time children. A 23-year-old full-time granddaughter, Xiao Ru, has been living in her northeast hometown for 2 months. She shared, "Working out of town, I don't make money and I just drain my family's wallet. Coming home just adds another pair of chopsticks. I work so hard in the big city, but I barely save any money. It's better to go home and take care of my grandparents. If I'm not there, they'll hire a caregiver, but I don't trust strangers. I'd rather do it myself." One full-time grandson posted on social media, saying, "I've been at home for a year, preparing for exams, and I haven't passed yet. I still haven't found a job I like. My grandfather heard about it and called me. He said, 'If you take care of me, I can live a few more years. That's better than anything else.' Now my grandfather gets 10,000 yuan a month in retirement benefits. He gets 3,000, I get 7,000. He's no longer a lonely old man, and I've solved my employment problem." Many full-time grandsons have shared their daily routines on social media, which include things like grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning, having milk tea, and doing yoga together. They focus on providing attentive service and emotional value, making their elderly relatives feel happy. The media has widely reported that being a full-time grandson has become the latest iron rice bowl for young people. Since the first group of full-time children started resigning, young people born after 2000 are no longer interested in that path. They fear being labeled as part of the slacker generation no matter how hard they try. Not wanting to be criticized by their families, but also not wanting to fight in the workplace, many young people have realized that becoming a full-time grandson is actually the most comfortable choice for them. Unlike caring for healthy parents, looking after elderly grandparents is considered much harder work. This way, no one will accuse them of being lazy. Instead, people will admire them for sacrificing their youth to care for their elders. Even parents won't insist on pressuring their children to find work, since they see it as fulfilling their filial duties. The young people who choose to go home don't intend to deplete their grandparents' retirement savings. They just realize that spending time with them is the most cost-effective choice. Being a full-time grandson makes everyone happy. You don't have to worry about making a living. Your grandparents handle 3 meals a day, and they treat you like their little grandson who never grows up. Your parents, on the other hand, get to relax. Compared to full-time children, good grandsons are even freer. When you're a full-time child at home, you have to sneak around when ordering takeout or staying up late, always worrying about your parents' reactions. But being a full-time grandson is different. You just have to report to your grandparents' house from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., then go back to your own home to sleep, giving you plenty of personal space. Plus, your grandparents won't pressure you to rush off to big cities like Beijing, Shanghai, or Guangzhou to find a job. As long as you make them happy, your parents will be pleased too, and they might even send you some extra cash now and then. It's like doing one job, but getting paid by 4 bosses at the same time. Now, the good grandson path is becoming increasingly popular with energetic young people born after 2000. They've realized that working for someone else is just like being someone else's grandson, so why not take care of your own grandparents instead? Some young people also know that their grandparents have always been frugal and reluctant to spend money on themselves, so on weekends, they take them to trendy new restaurants to try something different. It's a way to satisfy their own desires and also show their grandparents new experiences. One young person said, "After spending time at home, I often feel like my grandparents are raising me all over again. In the workplace or social life, I always worry that one wrong word will offend someone. But when I'm with my grandparents, no matter what I say or do, they never get annoyed. Even though I'm grown up, they still treat me like a little kid, taking me to different places, like fishing by the river or playing claw machines in shopping malls. When you're in your 20s and your parents treat you like an adult, it's only your grandparents who still see you as their little baby." Some analysts point out that China's economic decline and high youth unemployment rate have left young people feeling lost. Many born after 2000 reject growing up and want to return to their childhood, which is a response to the pressure of life. Only retired government workers have the financial capability to support a full-time grandson. This isn't a voluntary choice. It's more of a forced escape from reality caused by systemic issues and economic decline. Recently, a satirical comedy went viral online, mocking the inverted social phenomena happening in China today.
就该让老年人去上班。
Send older folks to work. They're up at dawn, don't doze off, and bring maturity, stability, and a ton of experience. Their age keeps bosses from piling on crazy overtime. Plus, they ride the bus for free. Meanwhile, stick young people in nursing homes. They're burned out from late nights and overwork, feeling lousy all over. Hand them a phone, no need for gym gear. In their downtime, they can have kids, fixing the population problem in one go.
Former Chinese teacher Gong Lu Tao pointed out the full-time grandson videos seen on social media are actually an attempt by a few individuals to glamorize relying on elders as filial piety, turning it into short videos to gain attention. He believes this cannot be promoted and certainly doesn't solve the structural issues. It's just a way for some people on social platforms to maintain their dignity or comfort themselves. He explained that the shift from full-time children to full-time grandsons reflects the rapid worsening of social issues. The 3 years of the pandemic and lockdowns not only destroyed countless small and medium-sized businesses, but also eroded the confidence of young people. The current reality is high housing prices, high living costs, and low incomes. Especially among highly educated youth, many are unable to find jobs. Education is losing its value, and social mobility is becoming more difficult. Australian historian Li Yuanhua also shared his thoughts, noting that from the perspective of individual families, having grandchildren take care of their elderly can solve family and social problems. However, as a trend, it reflects China's economic decline. People have no work and are forced into this situation. He continued, due to the economic downturn, many businesses have gone bankrupt. Many young people have spent years studying, only to graduate into unemployment, and they end up relying on their families, living off their parents. According to official statistics from May of this year, the unemployment rate among China's urban labor force aged 16 to 24, excluding students, was 15%. It was 15.8% in April, 16.5% in March, 16.9% in February, and 16.1% in January. On July 17, 2023, the Chinese National Bureau of Statistics announced that the youth unemployment rate reached a historic high of 21.3% for June. By August 15th, the government announced it would suspend the release of youth unemployment and related data. Some analysts have pointed out that the government's employment data is seriously falsified. According to unofficial statistics and estimates, the real unemployment rate for young people in China might be an astonishing 78.8%. So it's not surprising that lying flat and all kinds of odd jobs have become widespread. Gong Lu Tao stated that being a full-time grandson is not a real solution to retirement or employment issues. He explained, those who can be full-time grandsons typically come from better-off families. Families that can afford to support a full-time grandson are usually retirees from the public sector or senior positions in state-owned enterprises, whose pensions are often over 10,000 yuan a month. This is not something most people can afford. He pointed out that most elderly people in China receive only a few hundred yuan in pension each month, which barely covers their own living expenses. How could they afford to support a full-time grandson? It's essentially a way for privileged groups to put a dignified label on relying on their elders, but it is not something that can be generalized. Some netizens have shared that the pressure on young people to find work is increasing, and even more bizarre jobs than being a full-time grandson are starting to appear. One blogger documented a day in the life of being a full-time uncle for his grandmother, and the video went viral online.
祖上传下来的仆人用着就是放心。
They call me a servant passed down from my ancestors? Nah, I'm a full-time uncle. Sis, brother-in-law, go enjoy your two-person world. Home's covered with me here. Have a blast. Today, mom and dad are out on a date, so your uncle's hanging out with you, kiddo. Look at that smile. Let's hit the bath, then slip into some fresh clothes. Sounds good? Here we go. Bath's done. Aren't you adorable? Time for lotion, a new diaper, and a little spritz of scent. Let's pick out a cool outfit. Dressed and ready. Now, how about some milk? Come on, no tears. Milk's done. Nap time, okay? Oh, your red envelope? I'll keep it safe till you're grown. Deal? No answer. I'll take that as a yes. Thanks, nephew. Next, I'm feeding the cats and dogs. This dog food smells amazing. Nutrition packed in. Your clothes are in the wash. Diaper stock's set for the week. Weather's nice, so let's grab some fresh air. Got my uncle bag. Diapers, pillow, toys, bib, bottle. Hold up, let's throw on your puffy jacket. Out we go. Back home now. Time for milk. Nap time nailed. Now let's build your toy set. Done. Look, Mom and Dad are back. Wasn't your uncle awesome? No fuss, all fun. Handover time. Full-time uncles clocking out.
Many netizens commented that they're lucky to have such a brother, while some joked that he must have professional training as a nanny. Others playfully pointed out a red envelope in his pocket, suggesting it might be his true motivation. Some netizens pointed out that most young people who want to be full-time grandsons or full-time uncles don't have the opportunity. Many are struggling in big cities and are choosing to lie flat in smaller cities with cheaper housing. One blogger even documented his real-life experience.
很多人私信想看看主播在鹤岗的躺平生活。
Many people have privately messaged me, wanting to see what my lying flat life in Hegang looks like, and why I chose to lie flat just a short time after graduation. This video will answer all your questions.
His living environment is way better than the rented place he had in Shenzhen. This is his entertainment area, where he spends his free time playing games. Next to it is his little alcohol shelf, where he sometimes mixes himself a drink. This side is his work area, where he usually edits videos and does design work. He's a regular computer science graduate from a second-tier university. Like most fresh graduates, he was eager to experience the hustle and bustle of first-tier cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen. So right after graduation, he went to work in a computer company in Shenzhen, earning about 6,000 yuan a month. After deducting rent, utilities, food, and some meaningless socializing, he was left with just 1,000 yuan a month, sometimes even nothing. And because of the nature of the job, he often worked overtime until 10 p.m., sometimes even until midnight. The moment he started thinking about lying flat was during one of these overtime nights. Suddenly, he felt his hands and feet go cold, his heart skipped a beat, and he felt like he might pass out. He said, "It was a feeling I can't fully describe, like I was about to meet my ancestors." Realizing something wasn't right, he stood up from his desk and tried to walk out. A few steps later, he collapsed. Luckily, a security guard called an ambulance. The doctor said it was due to irregular heartbeats and low blood sugar.
I spent 3 days in the hospital handling all the paperwork and bills myself. Not a single person from work checked on me. Back at the office, I felt the cold shoulder from colleagues and my boss. Soon after, they fired me. It figures. There's no shortage of workers, and if something goes wrong, the company is on the hook. That night, I lingered on a bridge, totally lost. Why did I even come to this city? Shenzhen's dazzling with stunning night views. But when did I ever stop to soak them in? I'm always working, grinding overtime. This city's alive, but what's it got to do with me? That's when I started thinking about going home.
He tried to find a new job, but when that didn't work out, he used the 30,000 yuan he had saved up and returned to his hometown in Hegang. This 30,000 yuan was all earned through part-time side jobs. His regular salary didn't allow him to save a penny. He worked himself to exhaustion, only to realize he was getting nowhere. It's no surprise that people say, "You earn money in Shenzhen, but you spend it all there. Not a penny can you take home." Coming back home was tough at first. There were very few job opportunities in Hegang, but eventually he stopped looking for a regular job and just relied on side gigs, taking video-related product outsourcing jobs online. He earned about 2,000 to 3,000 yuan a month, which is enough to get by in Hegang. Interestingly, after working so many hours in Shenzhen for just 6,000 yuan a month, he now only works 2 to 3 hours a day here, earning 2,000 to 3,000 yuan a month. It's enough to live on. He finally understood what low-cost freedom means. He could never afford a house in Shenzhen, no matter how hard he worked. Gen Lutao said that the constant suppression of freedom of speech, the crackdown on private enterprises, and the shrinking of survival space for ordinary people is the fundamental reason young people end up powerless, retreat to their families, and even return to their grandparents. The government is untrustworthy, the market isn't free, and family has become the last refuge for young people. But this isn't an ideal return to family values. It's a silent escape after systemic failure. The Chinese Communist Party uses the phenomenon of full-time grandsons as a way to divert attention and cover up systemic issues, which could lead to even more serious consequences. It wants young people to stop questioning the social system and instead blame their failure on not being filial enough or obedient enough. This kind of direction is essentially brainwashing, encouraging young people to accept the mindset of just obeying to survive. Geng Lutao said, "This is not only a beautification of reality, but also deception. China's economy and job market are worse than they were 10 years ago, and there are fewer opportunities for young people. The concept of full-time children has even evolved into full-time grandsons. This is not a voluntary choice, but a forced escape from reality, a collective phenomenon caused by systemic issues and economic decline." Some netizens have pointed out that young people leaving first-tier cities to return home and lie flat, becoming full-time grandsons or full-time uncles, is a choice born from the severe economic downturn. It reflects the painful realization of the rigidity in social classes and the lack of opportunities. Rather than compromise with fate, this is more about survival instinct. If young people are controlled by unrealistic desires and propaganda, in such a hopeless and limited social environment, it's even more dangerous. Many young people working 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week collapse at their workstations and never get up again. In the end, they never figured out what they were really pursuing.